Stand by for a second, Tom. Stacey Honowitz is with me as well. She is with the Broward County State Attorney's Office, and she's the supervisor of the Sex Crimes and Child Abuse Unit. She joins me live from Fort Lauderdale. Stacey, I know you're not going to be able to answer this question, but it has to be asked again. How does it happen that a guy who has 2 rapes on his record, served 14 of 15 years, gets out and is allegedly able to do it again?
Well, there's no answers for this, Ashley. I mean, we see these horrible, horrible crimes, but one thing we know in this case is he didn't register. You know, if you're convicted of a sex crime in Florida and in all the states, you have to register as a sexual offender or a sexual predator. And that's exactly so that everybody can keep an eye on your every move. If you leave your house, if you move somewhere else, if you move into a new state, even if you go and visit someone for a certain amount of time, you must register that person's address. In this case, of course, he went to visit his girlfriend. He didn't register at her location, so no one probably knew where he was other than the people in that area, who I'm assuming the parents did not know he was a sex offender.
Let me ask you, Stacey, what if he had? What if he had registered as a sex offender? Does somebody go knocking door to door saying, "Hi, do you have a little girl, maybe named Naomi? Don't let her play outside." Like, how does it work? How do we get protected
what happens is,
from a registered sex offender?
Because it's called talking, and that's the thing. People have to look in their neighborhoods. They have to look on the registration. If their child is talking to somebody, look on the registration and find out if he's a sex offender. If the parents or if anybody had known that he was this person, this monster, maybe the child wouldn't have been allowed to go around him. So all of this stems... It all comes to education and letting people know. People like to bury their heads in the sand. They don't want to know about a sex offender. They don't want to look and see if someone's in the neighborhood. But you better find out if someone in your neighborhood, Yeah.
Hold on for a second, Stacey. Joey Jackson's with me as well as a defense attorney. This has got to be a tough one, because if you're a registered sex offender and you got 2 rapes on your rap sheet, and this happens and you're telling lies, has this guy got an iota of a defense? How would you actually take this case?
Well, let's talk about a couple of things. First, let me say this. I know Stacey Honowitz. I think the people of Broward County will be well served with her prosecuting and with her supervision in that division without question. I think the case, and you put your finger on something, Ashley, when you talked about combing through the car for forensics, because right now it's a largely circumstantial case. Certainly appears to be him. He's by his girlfriend's house. His girlfriend's house is by her house. He doesn't have an alibi. He gives conflicting statements, but I think it'll focus on forensics. And if I could touch on one other thing, Ashley, and that's this. We talk about registering as a sex offender. Really? You're going to voluntarily leave it up to a guy who obviously has a problem and has been convicted before and say, you know what, when you get a chance and you move, you just go register, okay, so we can keep a track on you? Nonsense. There needs to be a better tracking mechanism such that when you move anywhere, the system is on you and knows about you, and we don't leave it to you to register you. We follow you and ensure we know where you are at all times. That could prevent things like this.
All right, Joey, thank you. Stacey, thank you as well.